Oh man, I'm so sorry this deck profile is this late. This video should have been done about a couple months ago, around the same time that I released the Subaru Natsuki video. I did say that I was gonna record a deck profile. Better late than never, I'd say. So without further ado, if you haven't seen the Subaru Natsuki video, like how I explain how the combo works, I'll link to it in the bottom, and there's also a link to it in the top. I won't be explaining how the 3-2 works in this video. I already made, go watch the other one. I'm going to explain how to get to the 3-2 consistently. And without further ado, let's get right into it. So starting off with the level 0s, I'm going to be starting off with my main attackers. You already saw this card. So this was the top card of the deck. I do run 4 of the Felt Runners, kind of self-explanatory. It is a really good card in all aspect, honestly. After that, I do run 3 of the Stunned Emilias. This is a bottom deck bomb. Also, you can send this card from your field to your clock, and you give all your characters 1k. I do run it because it is an Emilia character, and the just a battle protection of on reversing, getting rid of some problematic cards as well. I do run 2 Fated Encounters Subarus, so this is a pop encore for any of your Emilia characters, and also if you rest this card, you give 1k5 to one of your Emilias, so you could boost up any of your Emilia characters, and believe me, this deck does run a lot of Emilias, and also that, like, on reverse protection's pretty good as well. For extra consistency, I do run Peaceful Life Rem. I do only run 3 because this deck is pretty tight, and you don't really want to be paying stock in this deck. You want to keep cards as free as much as possible, but this card is a must. I will bump it up to 4 eventually, just not now. Its second effect is still pretty good, and its first effect is mainly what you're using it for. You know, you go ahead, play it, and you get your 1-0 Emilias, any of your 1-0 Emilias. But the on-attack, mill, hit a climax, draw, ditch is super good as well. And yeah, I do run 3 of those. And I run 3 Pure Maiden Emilias. Mainly the reason I run this card is just so I could cycle through my deck and try to rush the Subaru, the 3-2 Subaru into my hand if I need to. Plus, you know, good hand fixing there as well. Because you're going to be cycling through your deck fairly quickly, I would suggest you running these Brainstorms right here, and these are the ones that I run. Salvaging Brainstorm, and this actually gives 500 power during your opponent's turn. And if for every climax you hit, for the Brainstorm effect, you get a cost 0 character from your waiting room, you throw it on the stage. So you could possibly be getting more free cards, but although, you know, you are going to be paying 1. But it is pretty worth it because you want to cycle through your deck fairly quickly because you want to be getting your key cards. Alternatively, if you don't want to run those 2, I would suggest also running this one right here. This is not in my main deck, but it is a tech option. This lets you draw 2 ditch 1. That way, because you are drawing, you're not getting a character, you're not looking for a character or anything like that. You can hard draw your climaxes, your Subaru, even the events. Speaking of the event, I do run 2 Kodomon, the fruit seller dude. On play, you pay 1 and you get to salvage the event. Now, the thing with this card is that because it is a merchant character, this has 0 to no synergy with any other card in this deck. So pretty much, you're just playing it so you can salvage the event, because every other card interacts with each other minus the event. This is the only card that interacts with the event, like specifically for the event. So there are actually 21 level 0s in this deck. Again, the whole reason is because you do not want to be wasting stock. You need stock. You need a lot of stock so you could get your combo going. So I do run a lot of weenies, and you will see that in the level 1s as well. I do run 3 of the Great Spirit Pucks. These gain 6k5 plus a level if you have an Emilia character, which this whole deck pretty much is an Emilia deck. And when it's reversed by battle, it gets sent to the bottom of your deck. So many times has this card been the death of me. Like, literally, like, it's always the last card that kills me. So, I would probably cut this down, but it is surprisingly really good, and it does come in clutch every now and then. It is a huge body, and it does run over a couple things. So I do run 3, and I don't know, I might cut it down to 2. We'll see. Alright, here's a climax combo. I do run 4 of the Starting Life in Another World, and these are a 1k1 and a buck when triggered. And you know which card I use it with? Silver-haired beauty Emilia. Such Such an amazing card, honestly. It could go up to 7k with the climax, you know, top check 4, add a character, and ditch the rest. Sorry, a magic or weapon character. I forgot that the merchant's in here. But anyways, you get your Subarus, you could get maybe some other characters, thin out your deck as much as possible. It is a necessity. This card is so good. And another card you can use is Lap Pillow Emilia. I do run 4 of these in my deck. If you have 3 or more other magic or weapon characters, this does gain 2k, which a full field you most likely will have. So again, this will be in 7k with the climax, and this is when it attacks. If you have a blue climax, literally any blue climax, you draw one, ditch one, and then you trigger. So pretty much these two work in tandem, and on top of that, they synergize super well with these cards here. Like this one could get it out of the waiting room, this one you could add it to your hand, this one you could salvage it, this one you could search straight from the deck, that's why I want to bump this up a little more. And this could keep your Emilias alive and even give them some extra power as well. And I will be explaining some sample combos a little later on in the video, but let's get on to one of the main cards of the deck. That's right, Return by Death, a 1/1 event. Like I mentioned, you want to gain as much stock and hold onto your stock as much as possible, because the Subaru, it is a pay 2, then you gotta pay 7, so in total you are paying 9. So I do want to keep this fairly low, and generally most games I do somehow get this into my hand. So anyways, you mill the top 3, you salvage a level X, and where X is dependent on however many magic or weapon characters you milled, and then you give a character 2k for the turn. I did make a video talking about the erratas, and yeah, this was actually on the erratas list. Because if you look down here, it says, and that character gets 2k plus 2k power, just that. It's technically, it is forever, but with the new errata, it's just until the end of the turn, and then this gets sent to your memory, which is super good. That way you're compressing a lot more. So you mill, you salvage, you get power, and you compress. Super good. Alright, and off to the level 2s. Yes, there are some level 2s. Kind of, they're all anti-early drops. Like there's an anti-early drop backup, and this one actually spins the character to the bottom of the deck. And that's pretty much it, yeah. And you know, it's 2k5 backup, I think. Yeah, I never use these. I might cut them out, but they're always in here. I always like to have a couple in my decks, because, you know, just in case. Also, look at that fucking face. So smug. So smug. It's even called Smug Look Emilia. So, yeah, they haven't been used in matches yet, but I'm sure I will eventually. Alright, now on to the main card. This is what you're shooting for, Subaru Natsuki, and yes, this is signed by Sean Chiplock, the English voice actor of Subaru. And with this, I do run 4 like a demon, and the thing with this climax is that they actually still do work with the Lap Pillow Emilias, because this Emilia is for any blue climax, so it will work along with like a demon. So anyways, again, I did explain how this card works in my other videos, so go ahead and watch that. So I do run 4 of these, and I do run 4 of these. So let's get to some sample plays. So your main level 1 plays is gonna mainly consist of the 1/0 Emilias, silver-haired beauty Emilias, I should say, along with Lap Pillow Emilia. So ideally, you would want to go for this one, but if you can't and you only have these, you're still in a good position. And again, like I mentioned earlier, if you don't have these, you do have a lot of options to get them. So let's say you have the Subaru in your back row, and let's say this Emilia too, it doesn't really matter. So around this time at a level 1, you would want to play your Return by Death, but let's say you don't, so you would play him, pay 1, salvage this because you are going to be milling a lot. So go ahead, pay 1, mill your things, then let's say you'll get this back. Give power to each, like, it doesn't really matter. Like, let's say you'll give power to this one using the Return by Death effect. So now you have this in your memory, which is really good. You just need 1. So let's say you'll side this. We'll give it the power boost here. So pretty much these are good. They could run over just about anything. Play your climax. And yeah, you just kind of just like a standard play. Get these attack. Go ahead and plus. Now, as soon as possible, you want to get your Subaru Natsuki in your hand. because the quicker you get them in your hand, the less you want to worry about it. But before you do that, you need to get this in your memory. This is super tough to just like cheese out, although there are some ways you can get it back into your hand. Most obvious is this card right here. You pay one, you salvage it. The other one is actually this one, because this is a hard draw. It doesn't matter like what the card that you're getting, as it's just a draw. So that's super good. On top of that, if you trigger this, this is also a draw. So you do have ways to get this into your hand, but ideally this is what you are rooting for. This is the card you want to get to your hand as quickly as possible. Because when it's sent to the memory, you're good. You don't need to worry about it. Now the next step you need to worry about is getting this little kid in your hand. And there are plenty of ways to do that. Now, all of these cards here could get your Subaru Natsuki. Like, if you mill 3, you could get the Subaru. If you top check the 4, get the Subaru. Hard draw it, get the Subaru. You trigger this, draw, hey, you got a Subaru. This one, you could brainstorm. If you get a hit, salvage the Subaru. Yeah, and again, on play, top check, get the Subaru, and you could ditch. So there are a lot of ways to get the Subaru into your hand. You know, you could even just fucking draw it, clock 2, draw 2, because, you know, every card has pretty much a built-in pot of greed. So this card isn't really, like, you're not that worried about not getting it into your hand. Again, this is the one that you are most concerned about getting in your hand as quickly as possible. Now, again, with this one, on the same boat is this Climax. Now the thing with this Climax is you don't play it, you have to actually ditch it. So what's good about this card is that because it is an arch, when you trigger this, you can actually get this exact same card from your waiting room added into your hand. And with your Subaru Natsuki, you know, you're not that worried about him. You will most likely have him in your hand, and then you'll get this in your memory, and you're all set. Go ahead and pop off on his combo. Now, I did explain in the Subaru Natsuki explanation video, but I'm just going to reiterate it here. You do not want to be paying stock for any card. That's why you run a lot of cost 0 cards, because you do need a total of 9 stock for his combo to pull off. And because of the other costs of the card, you want to have a full hand, because you need to ditch 4 cards plus the Climax. So in total, you're going to be ditching 5 cards, paying 7, and you need to have that in your memory on top of it. So because the very tight requirements to get the combo off, if you have back row, just go ahead, just scoot him up and just fucking crash everything. Just go for the soul damage. Which, believe me, you will be fine, because Subaru Natsuki does swing for 3 soul, which people still are like, wait, what? Really? It does? Yes, my friends, it does. So anyways, these die, pay all your stock. This gets sent to memory. You heal your entire clock. Everything on the field gets bounced back into your hand, including your reversed characters. That also includes your opponent's characters. So what's really good is that if your opponent overextended and they're super low on stock, they're kind of screwed. So with all the characters on the field back into their hand, all of your clock healed, minus your opponent doesn't heal. Both players free fresh. Although one thing though, your opponent does free fresh as well, but you are getting at least 2 cards into your memory. So there is a higher chance for you to cancel. Plus, on top of that, you do get an extra copy of Subaru Natsuki on the center stage where the last Subaru was. Now, he does have great performance, but he only has 3k power, so it's like, what's the point even? And then hopefully your opponent doesn't kill you that turn. And then, you know, you just play your weenies. Like, I'm assuming this is gonna die. You just play your weenies, you play whatever the fuck you want. And then the Subaru that's in your memory actually gives one of your characters on attack burn. So let's just say we'll give it to this one. So we'll go ahead, trigger, on attack burn 1, then, who am I kidding? Yeah, they're gonna be reversed. So ideally, you will be swinging your opponent to death. It's not a beatdown deck per se. You're not running over anything. You're just cheesing your opponent to death. Now, the one thing about this deck is that I actually did take this deck to a tournament. I took it to Chara Expo 2019, and out of the 8 matches that I played, granted one of my matches the player didn't show up, so out of the 7 matches that I played, I won 3. Still an F, but it's a lot better than what I expected. But out of those 7 matches, I got the combo going in 6 of them. The one time I actually still won. I was playing against a player that was running No Game No Life, and I tried super hard to get the event into the memory, but I literally just could not do it, and I was just crashing all my characters, but I ended up winning the match. I didn't get the combo going, but I still won. It was a fluke, if anything. But this deck is super fun to play. Like, it is such a fun option in Raise Zero. The second option that I might do a deck profile is this little guy right here. Well, I probably shouldn't say little, but yeah, the Reinhardt is actually another option of running Raise Zero. So, you know, there's the meta build, this, Reinhardt, but this is honestly like one of my favorite decks to play. It's super cheese, everybody has a good time like going against it. Very confusing and very, very difficult to explain what this deck does and how it works, but it's super fun. It's really enjoyable, and I had a lot of fun building it and play testing it, and I'm assuming my opponents did as well. But yeah, that is the Subaru Natsuki deck profile. Sorry that it's super late. At least I got it done eventually, like at least before I started school. But yeah, this has been Lunchbox5930 with another deck profile. I'll start doing a lot more of these in the future. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more Weiss Schwarz news and content. And I will see y'all in the next video.